достар, аса қадірлі біздің тыңдаушыларымыз, бүгінгі Yessenov университетінің подкастында біздің қонағымыз әйгілі инноватор, педагог Николас Садирак. Қош келдіңіздер. Nice to meet you. Nicolas, you are welcome to our university's podcast.
My pleasure.
We would like to discuss your journey, and we are happy to have you here at our university. And we are very lucky that we are having you when we launched new Technopark here at our university. So before having all those conversation, could you please share your long journey in shaping this educational approach for IT professional training?
Okay. First, you have to relate it that I have actually a background which is scientific, and I never really planned to be in education. When I was young, I was planning to be an astrophysicist, and on my journey of science, I met IT, and I started to be a hacker. And I found the first hacking company in France, a cybersecurity company. And this company was very successful, but we very early faced a shortage of talent. It was in early 1919, and it was almost impossible to hire a good cybersecurity engineer at this time. So I had to go to education to train our own employees. And I don't know how, but I felt that I was more useful, or maybe at least I had more fun and pleasure to do this education part than to do the hacking and the cybersecurity. So I slowly shift to education, and now I am 100% dedicated to education. But my first motivation is not education itself, it's clearly to fulfill a gap that we needed, just to find the talent that we needed.
So you mean that you have your ear on two sides, on job market side and on the education side.
Yeah, and
so you became the bridge that bring together those two industries in together, and you cut that gap that when they couldn't find that,
And that's something that I have been doing during the whole journey. I have always been on the side of the company and on the side of education. I have always been involved in new IT projects. It could be blockchain, it could be AI, it could be I did sometimes some edition of software in editing. During all this journey, I always had some IT companies and being myself personally involved in coding.
So we know your great initiatives, which formed to great schools in France and all over the world. But before making those initiatives, before making those companies, you have worked with traditional schools, traditional education system. So how do you change, and what kind of weakness did you find in traditional education process?
So I am of course coming out of a very traditional education system, as I come out from French education. Then I study in USA, where it's also very traditional, at least when I was there in traditional university. And I had to, I would say, I had to face something which was very clear, at least in IT, that the people the students that were trained were not able to fulfill the need of the company. Most companies has to either to train themselves, the students, for a few years, or have to hire only seniors. That's a strange situation. So the question was there was clearly something that was not working, and when I tried to train people inside the institution, I faced a very, very hard time of rejection of the institution, because most of the institutions I have been working with had I would say, culture and a very I can say that it's kind of, I would say conservative, but it's not exactly the word, but they have a strong culture that make it, they don't feel that they should change. They don't want to, I think maybe they are afraid, maybe they are not willing to accept that the world is changing. And I think, if you see, I have been a lot involved in IT professional, and I have been for a long time inside education institution. And if you see how much the IT world has changed and how little the education institution change, there is a very different rhythm there. The gap is getting bigger and bigger, not necessarily on the technology, not necessarily on the way they do stuff, but on the mindset. The mindset is getting wider and wider spreading.
You became the great changer in education process. So what initiative you have done? What pedagogical approaches were unique and specific, and that bring that outcome?
So I would say the main change that we did is to reduce the impact of teacher on the students. So slowly by slowly, if you see the journey, we start by a very traditional education where we had lectures and a little bit of hands-on activity. And slowly by slowly, we add more hands-on and remove the lecture to end up of now what we have is a peer-to-peer where there is no more teacher at all. So
you're saying is that your teachers, your students, your IT coding students should learn by yourself. You're saying that.
Yeah, the idea is we are facing in a very difficult situation where no one is able to know what will be tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And it's very true, and I think actually it's true in almost every field, but IT it's much, much worse than other fields, and especially now that AI is coming. But AI is introducing this new change everywhere. So we have been for very long in a place where mainly when you knew to know something, you could use this knowledge for 40, 50 years, and it was okay. It has been reducing since the last, I would say, 50 years. It's getting shorter and shorter. So the society organized, we did upskilling, we did reskilling, we organized that. But it's getting even faster now. No one is able to predict what you will need as a student in 5 years. And even when I say 5, probably in 2 years. So what we decide, our strategy is rather than to try to bring you all the knowledge you need, is to make you capable to find it when you need it. So it's to make you independent of this knowledge. And in this process, the teacher is a problem because he is the one who brings you the knowledge. And mainly what you should, as a student, be able to do is to get rid of it, to get independent of the one who is bringing you knowledge, so that you can find your own knowledge and even, I would say, at some point, create your own knowledge. Not necessarily yourself, but as a group. Okay, so mainly now, if you see a good innovative team, what do they do mainly? What is their job? Okay, their job is very simple. It's to find some kind of a situation, a problem, a situation where something is not, I would say, not efficient or dysfunctional, and imagine a solution. If this solution already exists, they have no interest. They just have to apply the solution. So there is no value of that. A computer can do it, an AI can do it, a robot can do it. So where do we bring value? It's when we create a new solution. Mm. And if you look at the education today, we focus 99% of the time of the education on the past, how it works, how you should do, but we don't train people to create the new. And it's true that at some point you need the knowledge of the past to create the future. Okay, but he also angel you in the past. So we have to find people who are able to manipulate the knowledge, to find it when they need it, and not to get in jail in it.
So I would like to underline that, very interesting thought you gave, that our today's learners shouldn't be silent learners, but they have to be active problem solvers. They have to see the challenges and learning environment based on your philosophy should be challenge based. So our students have to face and have to find those solutions by yourself. Yeah.
Exactly.
And in this case, teachers should be consultant, should be supporter, not just who easily give the full ready answer. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would even go a little bit farther for teachers. Teachers should not be anymore in a teaching situation. So they can be facilitator of the situation. They can organize so that there is meeting. For example, if you want to have the students to work on a problem with a company, of course you have to organize how do you interact with the company. You have to make the environment safe. You have to manage that. Okay, but it's not anymore a teaching process. It's a process where you bring the problem and you make what we call a collective intelligence with the student, and the teacher should not replace the creativity of the student. He should not bring his own knowledge. He should help the students to create their link to knowledge.
Great. So could you please describe that journey you have when you created Ecola 42 Epitech and
So mainly my concern, as I explained at start, was really to find talents for my own company. And during that, I realized that a lot of companies were struggling to find innovative talent. Specifically, in this time, it was the very big boom of startup in France, and plenty of companies were struggling to find those talents. So I realized this problem of capability was very generic. So I started to try to educate inside university, where it didn't work, mainly because the university couldn't accept the level of change that we tried, to be more hands-on, to be less in lectures, less exam, but more project. It was a rejection from the faculty, and we had to stop. So then what I did, I went to private, and we created a school, which is, by the way, called EPITA, and now ranking first IT school in France. We created a school from scratch with companies, but still in the education system, because we had to find students and we had to advertise, so we had to respect some rules, but not as much as the university. And slowly by slowly, I removed the rules to give more and more in this efficient peer-to-peer process. So I get EPITA, then I get Epitech, which is a little more hands-on than EPITA. And then after I create 42, which is completely outside of the education system, so where we could rethink all the rules. And after the very big success, because 42 has had a wonderful success worldwide, we open in 50 countries, and we train more than 200,000 students, which all work in the best company. So it's a very good success. We start to re-inject in more traditional schools this system.
That's a great example. So how about then could you please tell about more your graduates? How the job market accept them? What was the feedback from the market?
We had a very, very great feedback. So usually our graduate has more than between 50 and 100 job proposals when they get out, very high salaries. They are also, I would say, a little bit specific employees, because they are really focused on innovation and coding. And when I say coding, I would put it in a large way. We have students working in data center. We have students working on architecture. We have students working on AI. So it's coding in the wide absorption of it. It's not just writing code. It's creating software or creating systems. And we have had a very, very strong demand everywhere.
So with your graduates, with your platform, you have created whole unique ecosystem of IT education, IT training.
Yeah, and also what is very important is, so what we train our students to co-create. I mean, the whole idea, it seems to be a very simple idea, but it's not so simple to make it. But mainly what we do, we put students in a situation to face a problem where they don't have the solution, and we expect them to create the solution. And they will create the solution not by looking of what already exists, because it's new. It's a problem which has no solution. So they have to argue with each other. Sometimes they have to go to see someone else who is doing the same kind of thing, or maybe someone who is involved in this field. So it brings the students a capability to co-create and to interact with other humans. So it's something where you have much more than just people who know something, but you have people who are able to create a collective of people who answer a solution, not answer a solution, but that can optimize the situation and make it more efficient.
You know, we are happy to acknowledge that your great project already presented in Kazakhstan. We know that your project was presented through a Kazakhstan project called Alim School, and then now we are seeing bigger involvement, in a bigger contribution to Kazakhstan market. And so could you please tell this story behind and what motivated to bring your great initiatives to Kazakhstan?
So I think when we are now doing this kind of project in Kazakhstan for the last 6 years. We have been, I think when we met the first team of Astana Hub and others, we were very struck by the will of Kazakhstan to go forward. That was my first impression. It was I didn't know Kazakhstan much. I knew it exists, of course, but I didn't know any Kazakh people, and I didn't know much about neither the history, neither the country. But when we met, we met people who really were they were facing the future and embracing the change. That was our first feeling, that they really want to move stuff in Kazakhstan. They really want to go to digital, and they really want to do it in the state of in the scale of the state. Then after we met a lot of officials, and we saw that all the country was aligned on this, because I have met plenty of people in the world where you have like a group of people that are really want to do it, but after you see that the country don't. In Kazakhstan, we find that everyone, you can have from any student to the minister to the president, you see a line of vision which kind of is clear that we want to embrace the future and we want to be in this new world, and we are ready to work on it, to change, to adapt, and we have, of course, there is history, there is culture, there is stuff, but we are willing to work to change and to be adapt to the future. And that was convinced us to come and to start to work. Of course, the journey has not been always simple. It's always difficult when you do something big, but I think it has been very successful, and I am very happy to make a new step here, going in a public university, because it's I think if there is something in which kind of underline all my journey, it's I feel like I want to unleash talent. I mean, I feel like there is plenty of talent, and which are not, I would say, revealed, which are not as fulfilled. There is plenty of people that could make wonderful people and could make the world much better, and which don't have the opportunity to do it because we lack of infrastructure, we lack of people who have enough, I would say, courage, or at least enough strength to change that. And I feel like doing in Kazakhstan, we met this will, and now we are in a step which is very important, because it's true that we train few hundred in Alem. Probably we will train a few thousand in Astana, but if we want to go in millions, the only way is to go with public university.
So we are happy to have you here at Yessenov University in Aktau, located in western Kazakhstan. So traditionally, the main trainings happens in Almaty, in Astana. The Yessenov University, with Yessenov University yesterday, you have initiated to launching this great resource, and the 01 Edus platform will be available for Yessenov University students. So could you please share your ideas? What are the outcomes we would see in this project?
Today ago I was explaining that when I visit the room I saw there is 3 pictures. One picture of Bill Gates, one picture of Elon Musk, and one picture of Jack Ma. And I say it's exactly our value. Our value is very simple. You have to work hard. That's what says Jack Ma. And if you want to succeed, there is no succeed without work. It doesn't exist. Anyone who tells you that you can succeed without work just lie to you. So there is work. The second one, it's clearly you have to take risk. It's not by doing the main way that you will succeed, because this way has already been in the past. If you want to succeed in a new world, you have to take a risk, and that's what say Elon Musk. And the last one, it was Bill Gates, not Bill Gates, sorry. It's Steve Jobs who say think different. Okay, it's a little bit the same than take risk, but it's 2 ways to see the same problem. That it's not in the all good ways that you will create the future. Okay, and those 3 personages, it's exactly what we have as a meaning, and we are going to bring this spirit to our students. And what we can expect outside of that is in 10 years we will have Kazakh people on these walls and not anymore Americans. That's really the stuff. So I think it will totally change the ecosystem. So you will have innovators able not to copy but to create the future.
No, that's great. So you are going to equip our students with great knowledge, with great skills in creating, and so you're saying that our graduates will be great innovators who gonna be great motivators, great innovators.
Exactly.
And bringing up new sources, new services, new product for Kazakh market. Yeah. Exactly.
And it is, I would say it's especially important right now that AI is developing, because in this AI context, it's a little bit difficult to understand today, because you can. AI today afraid a lot of people thinking that it is going to replace your job. And it's indeed true and false. It's true that for example, most of the jobs that coders are doing today is going to be doing by AI. Okay, if you see today, you have plenty of people who have been trained to repeat coding, like just to do basic stuff, which is I give you a set of instructions and you make a software out of it. Okay, that's a software will make it. But the creative part of it, when we will have to invite the service, to imagine how this service will interact with people, how we can design the system out. Okay, it's not AI who is going to do it. Of course, the people who are going to do it are going to use AI to make much more complex and much more efficient system. But it will increase the number of need of talent. Okay, but it's not the same. So it means that it's not the same talent. So you will have talent that will lose their job. Okay, but you will have also much more talent needed. And the real issue is how are we going to create those talent, and how are we going to create them everywhere? Because one risk, it's all those talents could be at the same place and are not able to spread to the society, which is very dangerous because the tools and the talents are linked. So you may have at some point only tools which serves only this group, and the other part of the society kind of left on the side, and not only left on the side for the job, but left on the side for their needs.
I see your initiative, particularly at Yessenov University, will be very big game changer.
Yeah, I think it's a very game changer for the local ecosystem, but it's also a game changer even for the education system, because I think we enter. For me, I have been a lot outside of the education system because for the need of company, we did a lot of training inside company. We did private school, we did private training, and I am very happy to come back inside a public institution because it's where there is a scale. If we want to do it at big scale, that's the only way. And my belief, I think we are speaking about an IT program, but I really think maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, all activity, all fields will be impacted by AI and will have to change their education process. Because if you look of what we are doing in most education process right now, we are training humans to do exactly what AIs are able to do. And most of the time, AI are much more efficient. And we are in a situation where I was asking to some students lately, where they get assignment, the AI is able to do it better than any one of them, and most of the time better than the teacher. So it means that, and people are thinking it's a problem, but it's a problem of the assignment. It's not a problem of using the tools. Of course, you should use the best tools to make your assignment, but if the assignment is just asking a tool to do it, that means the assignment is not good. So we have to deeply change the process of education.
So I would like to acknowledge the fact that right now we are witnessing the situation when French nation is making knowledge transfer, knowledge spillover to Kazakh, so that to change it, bring its professional to the world level, international stage, and so on. I guess by building this kind of initiative, we will bring together many initiatives between Kazakhstan and the French in future. Of course, this will contribute many French companies to find the right skilled graduates, particularly in Kazakhstan job market, which will also strengthen our collaboration, I guess, industry to industry, university to university.
Of course.
Thank you so much for insightful conversation, and thank you so much for being here and introducing your great initiative to Kazakh students. And we know that your initiative that starts at Yessenov University will be given to the other Kazakh universities, so that we can have this great promise that we can make these highly skilled IT professionals, highly skilled. And
so we indeed plan to open, we spoke with the Ministry of Education to open 20 of this center in Kazakh university. And we are already in 20 countries right now, and we plan to be all over because this problem is not Kazakh, it's not even French, it's worldwide. And if you look at the last report of the World Economic Forum, they say we will lack around 20 million IT AI talent for 2030. So it's a real big challenge, and they say that it will probably, if we don't get it, if we don't fulfill this gap, we'll probably lack of 3% of humanity growth. Okay, so it means a lot of people having problems, hunger, and plenty of problems. It's not just a question of comfort. It's a question of we have big problem to face as a humanity, and it's part of the solution.
Dear Nicolas, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, sharing your ideas. Indeed, your great initiatives.
You're welcome.
We are experiencing that will be a great outcome. Of course, we believe that we will change lives, minds of many young people. Thank you so much for sharing your time. Құрметті достар, осымен біздің подкастымыз аяқталды. Бүгінгі подкастта өте қызықты ойларды талқыладық. Енді осының тыңдай отырып өздеріңіздің ойларыңызды бөлісіңіздер, лайк басыңыздар. Сіздермен әрқашанда бірге боламыз. Рахмет.